Before anything else rises in your mind, before your heart tries to rush ahead or look back, settle into this moment. Breathe slowly. Let the noise fade. God does not fight from panic. He fights from position. He does not react in fear. He moves from authority. And right now, heaven is not scrambling on your behalf. Heaven is settled. Heaven is seated. Heaven is sure. What you have walked through has not confused God, delayed Him, or weakened His hand. This moment is not fragile. This moment is intentional. You are not standing in uncertainty. You are standing at the edge of completion. Something has shifted quietly, but permanently. And today is not about striving, begging, or repeating old battles. Today is about recognition. Today is about agreement. Today is about sealing. You did not survive by accident. You were carried. You were covered. You were preserved when you did not even have the strength to explain what you were carrying. There were nights when you went to sleep with questions still unanswered, and mornings when you woke up already tired. There were moments when you smiled in front of people while your soul was fighting silently. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still standing. That alone is evidence that God has been working beneath the surface long before you saw any sign. Restoration does not begin when you feel strong. It begins when God decides the season has shifted, and that decision has already been made. Let your heart receive this truth gently. What God restores, He restores completely. He does not patch broken places temporarily. He does not heal halfway and walk away. When He restores, He returns you to a place of wholeness, peace, clarity, and forward movement. What was lost is not only coming back, it is coming back with understanding. What was delayed is not only being released, it is being released with timing. What was attacked is not only being defended, it is being established stronger than before. You are not stepping into survival again. You are stepping into testimony. The ancient words remind us that the Lord restores the soul. He does not only fix situations, He restores the inner life. He leads into paths that are right, paths that align with His name, His reputation, His covenant faithfulness. Even when the way passed through dark valleys, He remained present. His presence was not passive, it was active, guiding, protecting, correcting, and sustaining. And now, because you have walked through, not around, not away from, but through what tried to break you, you are emerging with a different weight of grace on your life. What once threatened to consume you has become proof that God is faithful. Right now, we intentionally align ourselves with heaven's order. We acknowledge that nothing is accomplished in the Spirit by accident. Every lasting victory is rooted in alignment. Every breakthrough is sustained by agreement. We come into legal ground, not as outsiders trying to access mercy, but as sons and daughters standing on covenant promises. The altar of your life is being reset today, not rebuilt from rubble, but realigned with truth. Any place where exhaustion replaced expectation, any place where fear tried to sit where faith belongs, any place where delay tempted you to doubt God's goodness, those places are being corrected now. We acknowledge before God and before the unseen realm that Jesus has already paid the full price. Nothing is owed. Nothing is pending. Nothing is left unresolved in the courts of heaven. By His blood, accusations are silenced. By His sacrifice, access is secured. By His resurrection, authority is restored. We do not speak from desperation. We speak from inheritance. We do not plead as victims. We declare as witnesses. Whatever tried to argue against your healing, your peace, your progress, your future has lost its legal standing. The record has been cleared. The case has been closed. The verdict has been settled in your favor. And from that position, not from emotion, not from anger, not from fear, we speak with calm authority. Every word spoken against your life that did not come from God, return to sender. Every plan formed in secrecy, every manipulation, every hidden resistance, every spiritual interference designed to delay, drain, or divert you, return to sender. Every cycle of confusion, unnecessary struggle, emotional heaviness, and recurring frustration that did not originate in heaven is dismantled now and sent back void of power. Not with chaos, but with order. Not with noise, but with finality. The enemy does not get to recycle what God has finished. Any assignment that fed on your weariness is cut off. Any voice that tried to whisper that this season would never end is silenced. Any pattern that attempted to repeat itself beyond its allowed time is broken. You are not carrying yesterday's weight into tomorrow. You are not repeating last season's lessons again. You are not reopening battles that have already been won. This is enforcement, not fighting. This is standing in what has already been decided. Heaven backs this stance. Heaven honors clarity. Heaven responds to alignment. Now let the fire of God move, not to destroy you, but to purify, to finalize, to enforce what has already been released. Let divine fire burn away residue, not memories, but residue. Not wisdom gained, but heaviness attached. Let it consume every lingering effect of stress, disappointment, grief, and silent pressure. Let it strengthen what was weakened, stabilize what was shaken, and seal what was healed. This fire does not come to frighten. It comes to finish. It comes to ensure that what God has restored is not reopened by fear or doubt. Peace is settling into your body. Rest is returning to your mind. Healing is moving through places you did not even know were still sore. God is not only touching symptoms, He is addressing roots. He is restoring sleep. He is restoring clarity. He is restoring joy that does not depend on circumstances. He is restoring confidence without pride and humility without insecurity. You are learning how to rest without guilt and move forward without fear. This is not collapse. This is recovery. This is not escape. This is establishment. Take a moment, even now, to thank God quietly in your heart. Thanksgiving is not an ending. It is a seal. Gratitude closes doors the enemy hoped to re-enter. Gratitude marks transitions in the spirit. Gratitude declares that you recognize what God has done and you agree with where He is taking you. Thank Him, not only for what you understand, but for what He handled without your awareness. Thank Him for protection you never saw, for delays that saved you, for closed doors that redirected you, for strength that carried you when you had none left to give. As you thank Him, something locks into place. Recovery is not temporary. Restoration is not seasonal. This is the beginning of a new rhythm, a new pace, a new way of walking with God. You are not rushing ahead, and you are not dragging behind. You are moving in step. And as this week unfolds, your life will begin to reflect what has been settled in the Spirit. Conversations will shift. Opportunities will align. Peace will become familiar again. Testimony will rise naturally, not forced, not exaggerated, but evident. Do not rush out of this moment. Let it rest on you. Let it sink deeper than emotion. Something has been sealed today, and as you carry this quiet confidence forward, know this. The God who restored you is also the God who keeps you. What He begins, He completes. And this is only the beginning of what this new season will reveal. As this sealing continues, let your spirit remain steady. There is no urgency here, no pressure to rush the process. What God seals does not require constant attention to remain secure. It holds because He holds it. You are learning a new posture now, not one of vigilance born from fear, but watchfulness rooted in peace. This is different. This is rest with awareness, strength without tension, authority without striving. What you are stepping into is not fragile. It does not collapse because of one bad day or one difficult thought. It is built on something deeper than emotion. It is built on truth. And truth does not shift when feelings fluctuate. This is why the recovery God gives lasts. It is anchored in who He is, not in how circumstances behave. There were seasons when you had to fight just to stay upright. Seasons when prayer felt like effort and faith felt like work. Seasons when obedience was costly and clarity was rare. But those seasons have completed their assignment. They were not meant to be permanent. They were meant to refine your discernment, deepen your roots, and strip away anything that could not follow you forward. What survived that process is what belongs in the next chapter. Everything else has already fallen away. Now God begins to reintroduce lightness into your life, not carelessness, but lightness. You will notice it in the way you think, the way you respond, the way you no longer feel compelled to explain yourself to everyone. You are not shrinking, you are settling. You are no longer reacting to pressure. You are responding from alignment. This is evidence of healing. This is how restoration shows itself before it ever becomes visible to others. And let it be declared again in the unseen realm. Your altar is aligned. The place of devotion in your life is no longer contaminated by fear-driven prayers or survival-based decisions. You are no longer approaching God only to fix problems. You are approaching Him from relationship, from trust, from shared movement. This changes everything. When the altar is aligned, the atmosphere follows. When the altar is aligned, resistance loses access. When the altar is aligned, provision flows without strain. Anything that once drew strength from your anxiety no longer has a source. Anything that relied on your confusion to operate has been cut off. You are no longer feeding what was feeding on you. Old cycles are starving. Old patterns are collapsing quietly. There is no need to announce their end. They simply cannot continue where the clarity has taken residence. So again, from this grounded place, we speak with finality. Every delayed blessing that was held back by unnecessary warfare is released now. Every answered prayer that was slowed by misalignment is accelerated now. Every promise that required this season of recovery before manifestation is moving forward now. Time is being redeemed, not rushed, but redeemed. God is not making you catch up. He is repositioning you so that what comes next fits naturally. Let every false burden fall away. You were never meant to carry responsibility for outcomes that belong to God. You were never meant to hold the weight of other people's choices. You were never meant to sustain battles that were already won at the cross. That weight is lifting now, not dramatically, but decisively. You will notice it in how your body relaxes, how your breath deepens, how your thoughts slow down and become clearer. Healing continues to flow not in waves of emotion, but in steady restoration. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your mind is learning safety again. Your spirit is recognizing peace as its natural state. This is not something you have to defend. It is something you get to enjoy. Rest is not laziness. Rest is agreement with God's sufficiency. And today, rest is being restored to you as a gift, not a reward. Thanksgiving deepens here. Not loud praise, but settled gratitude. Gratitude that says, God, you handled what I could not. Gratitude that says, you finished what I was afraid would never resolve. Gratitude that trusts that the same God who brought you through will also carry you forward. This kind of gratitude seals doors behind you. It prevents backward movement. It stabilizes forward momentum. As you move through the coming days, do not be surprised if peace exposes what no longer fits. This is not loss. This is alignment. God will not allow you to rebuild old structures in a new season. He loves you too much for that. He will gently redirect you, not with force, but with clarity. And you will recognize His leading because it will feel like relief, not pressure. Stay here a little longer. Let the seal set fully. There is no rush to speak, no rush to act, no rush to prove anything. What God has done does not require validation. It will speak for itself. And as you rest in this truth, something continues to form quietly beneath the surface. preparation for what comes next. Not another battle, but another expression of God's goodness. This is not the end of the story. It is the stabilization before expansion. And even now, without striving, without effort, without noise, the next season is already unfolding around you. Let the quiet continue to deepen. What God is doing now does not announce itself with noise. It settles, it anchors, it strengthens the places that once trembled. You are being established in a way that cannot be easily shaken again. This is not a pause before another storm. This is a recalibration for sustained peace. God is teaching your spirit how to live from overflow instead of urgency, from assurance instead of anticipation. There was a time when you measured progress by how much resistance you felt. If there was pressure, you assumed something important was happening. If there was struggle, you believed it meant you were advancing. But now, God is rewriting that pattern. He is showing you that ease can also be holy, that clarity can also be confirmation, that rest can be evidence of obedience. You are no longer required to prove your faith by enduring unnecessary strain. What is meant for you will meet you without violence. The atmosphere around you is changing because your internal posture has changed. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are no longer expecting interruption. You are no longer preparing for disappointment before joy arrives. This is significant. The spirit realm responds differently to those who are settled. When fear leaves, confusion loses its foothold. When peace takes residence, chaos cannot coexist. You are becoming a place where order remains. And now, once again, we return to alignment, not because it was lost, but because alignment must be maintained through awareness. Your thoughts are being brought into agreement with truth. Your expectations are being adjusted to match heaven's pace. You are no longer waiting for permission to move forward. God has already authorized this next season. You are not crossing into unfamiliar territory. You are reclaiming ground that was always marked for you. Any remaining voice that tries to resurrect old narratives is dismissed now. You are not who you were in survival mode. You do not respond the same way. You do not think the same way. You do not pray the same way. The season that required constant vigilance has ended. The lessons have been learned. The wisdom has been integrated. What comes next does not require you to bleed again to qualify. So again, from this place of authority without aggression, we speak enforcement. Every attempt of the enemy to revisit healed wounds is denied access. Every suggestion that peace is temporary is rejected. Every lie that tells you to prepare for loss after restoration is silenced. You are not being set up for another cycle. You are being established in continuity. What God restores, He sustains. Let the fire of God continue to move, not as intensity, but as refinement, burning away hypervigilance, burning away self-protection that was necessary once but is no longer required, burning away the habit of scanning for danger in seasons of safety. This fire is gentle, precise, intentional. It does not scorch, it clarifies. It leaves you clearer, lighter, more present. Your body is learning how to trust peace again. Your mind is learning how to stay present without drifting into worry. Your spirit is learning how to remain open without fear of being wounded again. This is deep healing. This is the kind of restoration that changes how you live, not just how you feel. God is not just healing what happened. He is healing how it affected you. You may notice now that your reactions are slower, your responses more thoughtful, your emotions steadier. This is not detachment. This is regulation. This is what happens when safety is restored internally. You are no longer ruled by urgency. You are led by discernment. You are not pulled by pressure. You are guided by peace. Thanksgiving continues here, but it matures. It becomes quieter, deeper, more personal. Gratitude that no longer needs to be spoken loudly to be real. Gratitude that lives in how you carry yourself, how you treat others, how you choose rest without apology. Gratitude that understands that survival was not the goal, wholeness was. As you thank God, something else is sealed. Trust, not blind trust, but tested trust. Trust that has seen difficulty and still believes. Trust that has walked through delay and still hopes. Trust that has been disappointed and still opens its hands. This trust will carry you far. It will keep you from unnecessary detours. It will help you recognize what is truly from God and what is merely urgent. Now, allow yourself to look ahead without anxiety. The future does not need to be managed today. God has already accounted for it. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are arriving at the right pace, in the right condition, with the right awareness. What comes next will not overwhelm you because you will meet it as someone restored, not depleted. Stay in this stillness a little longer. Let the seal continue to set. There is no need to rush the transition. God is not pulling you forward. He is walking with you. And as this part of the journey stabilizes, something subtle but powerful is happening beneath the surface. Confidence is being rebuilt, not in yourself alone, but in the faithfulness of God. You are ready for what comes next, not because you are strong enough, but because you are no longer afraid. And that, more than anything else, is proof that recovery is real. Stay here for a moment longer. Do not rush to close this space. What God seals is not hurried, and what He completes is meant to be carried forward with awareness. This final movement is not an ending, it is a settling into continuity. It is the moment where recovery becomes normal, where peace becomes familiar, where strength no longer feels like effort, but like identity. There is a difference between visiting restoration and living in it. Today, you cross that threshold. You are no longer just touching healing, you are inhabiting it. You are not checking whether the wound still hurts. You are discovering that it no longer defines how you move. This is where many people rush ahead too quickly, but you are being taught to remain grounded. God is anchoring you so deeply that what once destabilized you will no longer have the leverage it once did. Understand this clearly in your spirit. Nothing is waiting to ambush you. You are not being set up for another test to prove your faith. God is not dangling peace only to withdraw it later. That narrative is broken now. It belonged to a season of survival thinking, not covenant truth. The same God who brought you through has already committed Himself to keeping you. Stability is not temporary when God is the one sustaining it. You are learning how to carry blessing without anxiety, how to experience calm without suspicion, how to receive goodness without bracing for loss. This is new for you, and God knows it. That is why He is gentle in this transition. He is not overwhelming you with everything at once. He is allowing you to acclimate to safety, to consistency, to rest. This is wisdom, not delay. Your inner world is being reordered. Where there was once constant scanning, there is now awareness without fear. Where there was once tension, there is now discernment. Where there was once emotional exhaustion, there is now capacity. This is the fruit of recovery. Not just the removal of pain, but the restoration of function. You are able to engage life again without being drained by it. Now, let the final seal be spoken clearly in the spirit. This season of recovery is complete. Not because there will never be challenges again, but because you are no longer operating from a wounded place. Challenges will meet you differently now. Decisions will feel clearer. Boundaries will feel easier. Obedience will feel lighter. You are not reacting anymore. You are responding. That distinction changes everything. Every agreement you made with fear during times of pressure is broken now. Every silent vow that said, "I will never rest," or "I must always be prepared," or "peace never lasts," is cancelled. Those were coping mechanisms, not truths. You no longer need them. God Himself is your covering. God Himself is your defense. God Himself is your stability. Let joy return without guilt. Let laughter return without explanation. Let hope rise without qualification. You do not have to justify why you are okay now. You do not have to explain your peace. You do not have to apologize for your healing. What God has done in you is legitimate, complete, and protected. And now, testimony begins to activate, not because you are trying to inspire others, but because your life naturally reflects what God has done. People will notice the difference, not just in what you say, but in how you carry yourself, in how you respond under pressure, in how you no longer chase validation, in how you are no longer pulled into unnecessary conflict. Your peace will speak louder than your explanations ever could. As this week unfolds, you will notice confirmation. Small confirmations at first. A sense of ease where there was once resistance. Clarity where there was once confusion. Alignment where there was once friction. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that the seal is holding, that the shift is real, that the season has truly changed. So now, with fullness and not fear, give thanks again. Thank God for recovery that went deeper than you expected. Thank Him for sealing what you could not protect yourself. Thank Him for the new season that is already unfolding, not loudly, but faithfully. Gratitude marks this moment as complete. Gratitude closes the door behind you and opens the path ahead. And as you move forward from here, carry this one truth gently but firmly in your heart. You are not returning to what was. You are not repeating what hurt you. You are not rebuilding from brokenness. You are moving forward from wholeness. Do not rush the next step. It will reveal itself at the right time. For now, remain in this settled place. Let peace lead. Let trust guide. Let rest become normal. Recovery is sealed. The season has changed, and what God has begun to unfold in your life now will not require striving to sustain. Stay here, carry this forward, and let the story continue, quietly, steadily, beautifully,